Hey guys, sorry I turned you on without turning the microphone on first. Oh, at least I remembered. Okay, so now that we've got our box all covered, I am going to work on the top, the lid. And I have decided that I want to put the stripes from the back onto the front of the lid, and these flowers on the back side of the lid, and then the orange on the sides. So it's just going to be as easy as just getting one cut in here, pencil, where we want it. Alrighty. Okay, lid front. Let me just double check that I've got a nice cut here. Okay. Erase my pencil mark. Ink it up. I have really had to piecemeal this video together because some of the things I had to go back and actually do a second time, and oh my goodness, because I got sick that day, it's just weird, just a weird whole video. So, but we're getting through it. We are getting through it. My husband went on the Facebook Marketplace. Well, actually, my son did. We've been looking for some brick because we wanted to build a fire pit in our backyard. We have a large area back there that with rock and stuff, and we just thought it would really be nice. So they called a guy this morning because they saw it go on Marketplace, and they went and picked it up, and we now have a completed fire pit. I'm like, no moss is growing underneath my guys. They are just going to town. So, yep, they got it. It was 150 bricks, and they made a really nice, 5-layer up round circle. So, really super. Really super. Now, I'm also going to use this on my drawer front. And I think this has got some writing here, and I like this writing. So I think I'm going to try and use the top part and then everything that's left, because on this part, I will want it to be wrapped around. So you should have enough to do both if you do choose to, to do your box the way that I'm doing it. But of course, you can use any paper that you would like to use. And even if it's not, because at first I had thought, I've got some beautiful handmade papers and I could totally use those. But because I'm doing a tutorial, I decided that it just wouldn't be fair for me to do the tutorial using something that you wouldn't have access to. Some of the times with tutorials I do, but I just didn't want to for you to have a problem. So let's see here. Let's cut this off. Get this little piece out of the way. Okay, so that's left for the drawer front. And that's going to be upside down because it's going to go this way. All right. I'm going to ink my edges. I've been trying to... I don't think I've missed inking any of the edges. I missed putting some structure strips down, but I didn't miss putting any of the edges in. And I did notice that I did not put structure strips on the inside of the box. So I am going to put structure strips all the way around the base and up each side. And then I will put paper in here. So that still needs to be done. I probably will do that off camera, but it would be something that you would want to go ahead and do as well. So it's just going to make it that much more strong and be able to handle years of holding heavy objects, you know, all your cards and things like that. Just years of use. Hopefully this would give you years of use. I am getting to the point now where I don't really want a bunch of stuff around that I'm not using. I just don't see any use, need for that. And I suppose trying to go through Mom and Dad's house and cleaning it all out and seeing, things that they hadn't even touched for 30 years still sitting there. And it's like, wow, okay. But it is so easy to accumulate a bunch of stuff. And then when you're being sentimental and you're packing up things, you think, oh my gosh, I can't do without that. I've got to have that. Reminds me of this time or this thing. And yeah, of course, I'm not a super sentimental. There's a few things that I do get sentimental about, but other than that, yeah, I'm just not a super sentimental kind of gal. Okay. Now I have a stray piece from cutting the sides off with that will fit, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just make my pencil mark. Oops. Alrighty. I'm just going to use this. Okay, and there's some nice strips for when we go. We still have to do the backs of the, what is that? A pencil mark. We're still going to have to do the backs of the file folders. And those are just going to be either, yes, really, boy, I tell you what. Searching for my words. Now, why didn't I put a structure strip around the two sides? I put it here and here, but I didn't put it here. Okay, so let me get my structure strips. Let's see, do I have any long enough that I can do? I do not believe so. Nope. I got them in the centers and I got them on this side and this side, but I did not cover this side. So let's get that done. Before we put that paper down. That is just kind of rickety on that side, so let's see. There we go. And let's see, we're going to fold this so that it is score tape to the inside on both of these. You can either take both or just one. I find it easier to do the first one and then get the other one off. Let's make sure. Oh, I need to trim off just a little bit more. Okay. This is a long video, and I do apologize for that, but I'm trying to cover everything with you so that you will nice burnishing that down there. It just gives it such a nice edge. But I'm just trying to make it where you are going to have everything you need, and especially just keeping in all of the mistakes and changes that you know, you can totally see that there's a way to fix everything. A way to fix it all. I tell ya, I cut that just a little too short. So I'm going to take my marker and just blacken the edge there, in case it just sneaks out on me a little bit, that it will all be covered. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Now we can put, let's see, this is the front, and I just knew that I wanted this, it's kind of variegated, and it's the darker I wanted it to be towards the back, because that's how it is on the side of the box, just so it would kind of match up. It comes from the back darker up into the front lighter. So I was just trying to keep the same look along the side there. Alrighty. Good stuff. Okay. And then one more. That will not fit that way. So, and I don't think I have, let's see. Oh, I do have some smaller pieces of this. Either one of those. So we'll save that for, and I'll want the dark end to be on this side. And here we go. Okay. I hear my family coming in. Where's my pencil? I mean, I just had it. There we go. And there's a good spot right there. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm very excited though about finishing this up. And, you know, and then the sky's the limit. I can choose anything I want to, and that's always so exciting. That's why it's, you know, I used to find videos and get so excited about a project somebody was doing, and I would go ahead and follow it all the way through and make it, and it was absolute thrill. Now I just kind of design all my own stuff, but I still watch people. everybody gets ideas and things like that from everybody else, and it's a wonderful sharing community. I really enjoy this whole YouTube crafters community. All you guys, you know, it's very rewarding, and I've got friends all over the country that I've never met, but through YouTube, you know, we've become friends, and it's really cool. So, yeah, really cool. I hope all of you, if you reach out to the people that do the YouTube videos, and, you know, just pretty much everybody on, I haven't really met too many people that are kind of rotten. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Oh boy. All right, listen, I have to say, Susie QTT, thank you, my fellow Kentuckian. I appreciate the shout out to me in the comments. You're very, very sweet. And Decor 8, the number 8, Your Life, scrapbooking and card making. Thank you for your shout out, Sandy. I hope you figure out your storage dies. You had left me a message a while back, and I just never did get a chance to thank you. I've actually been following you for a couple years now, I think. And Decorating on Faith is another fellow Kentuckian, and I thank you for your visit and becoming a subscriber. So there you go. I read them all, and I love them. So keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. Okay, back to the box. Now, I have the box lid. First, let me go back to this. I put structure strips inside all the way around and up the sides. I put structure strips in here on the sides and the back. And I think that was about it. Now remember, we still have this is not attached, which is very important. Not attached on the top half, because we're going to be using that when we attach the lid. But I wanted to tell you about doing the structure strips. I also did the structure strips inside the lid, in the corners, and on these two sides, and I still have these two sides to do, but this is the back part of my lid, and so I'm going to go ahead and put the structure strip on the front part of my lid, because I'm not doing anything with that. And then I'm going to make my hole for my top. So let's get these structure strips on the... Now this is my front. I have my stripes on the front. So I'm putting the structure strips down there, and you just fold it together, you know, pinch it together, stick it right down in the corner. You want to make sure it gets right down in that corner so that it can actually do the job that we're wanting it to do properly. And then we're just going to burnish that down. And just taking my and getting that all down, making sure that tape is really getting glued down and all the air out of it and everything. Okay, so now I have the back of my box ready with nothing on it just yet. So, excuse me. Had I remembered before I put this in the box, I could have used my hole punch to put my hole in here. Now, if you guys remember how I did my, or I don't know actually if it got, if I ended up deleting that particular scene or not. So during this construction, the first part of it, you'll hear me coughing and saying, oh, I feel off and all that. Well, I ended up that evening going out and telling my husband, I said, I've just made a mess of my videos and I don't feel real good. And he had me take my temperature and it was 101. So I don't know that, because I ended up deleting some things because I just was not making any sense at all. So I do apologize for that. Doing that while I was sick and not really at my best game. Okay, in order to find the center, and say you don't have a centering ruler or you don't want to take the time to manage it, all you got to do is cut a little piece of paper that is the same length as what you're trying to measure, and then you're going to put it back, and you got your first line. I guess I'm a little off. Let me take this one off so it's not confusing. Okay, so there's the first line. Excuse me. And so then I'm going to take another piece, cut it, fold it. I'm just using my scraps for this. And then put it back on there. And that part was correct. So right at that X, let me get you a little closer. Right at the X is where my hole's going to be. So that's a super simple way, no figuring, no muss, no fuss. You're done. So I'm just going to take this pokey tool and make myself a hole. And this knob, I want to see what size this screw actually is, because it's a pretty good size. It looks to be, well, it looks to be only about 1/8 of an inch, so that's not bad at all. So let's get my little piece down there. Put the screw. Get the screw in the hole. Come on. There. Okay, now I'm going to pop it back out because I've got a little bit of extra cardboard and I want to snip that off a little bit. Because I want my handle to actually, lay nice and flat. Now, I'm not going to actually put my handle on there until I get my top piece, but I wanted to get my hole prepared so that I would be able to find it after I put the, I'll just come from the back end and poke a hole, and then we'll put, but I'll show you that. But anyway, so we have our hole ready. I'm going to put this off to the side because we're not quite ready for that yet. Okay, this is my back. And I have I have 2 pieces of paper that are 10 1/4 by 4, and that fits. What you want it to do is fit inside your box perfectly from side to side. And I have 2 pieces, and I'll explain that in just a minute. But they're 2 pieces exactly the same. Again, that was 10 1/4 by 4. You may have to alter yours a little bit because you are cutting your cuts a little bit better because of my trial and error. So yours might be a little different, but you want it to be, at least 4 inches, because this is going to be the inside sides of the lid. I'm going to try and do it all in the blue. I have enough of this piece, I think, that will, well, maybe, but I've got enough of that I can definitely get the insides of my lids done with this blue. So anyway, and then I have a piece of Tyvek, and the Tyvek is 10 1/4, and I'm minusing like a 1/16. So get it to the 10 1/4 line, and then just take it off the line in between, just a little bit, because I want it to just lay inside these two pieces and not really come all the way to the edge. You'll notice that I took my marker and I actually blackened the edge on both sides. And I took it along the edge as well as up and down, just in case it happens to, mess up. Now you can just glue this down, or you can put some score tape on it. However you want to do it. I'm going to put score tape on the outside edge of this little puppy. I'm going to cut this little smidge off. There we go. This is from a used Tyvek envelope that somebody mailed me, and I was very grateful to get it because I was thinking I was going to have to go and buy some. And I didn't want to. I have in the past actually used the ones from the post office, those envelopes that you can get from the post office, but I feel like that's stealing if you're just grabbing it to use them for that. It's kind of stealing. So I hate doing that, but every once in a while, if I can't find any, I'll go into my mailing stash and I'll grab one of those. But I had a little bit of tape come off the edge here, so I'm just cutting it off. Not that it makes a whole lot of difference. This is going to be sandwiched in between. So I am just putting tape down on one side. And now I'm going to take this off. I hope everybody's been having a fun week. This is Saturday for me. I was supposed to get this video up. But no can do. Not with being sick and my son here and just way too much going on. So I am putting this where it is sitting inside the edges. So it's not right up to the edge. All right, and then this side, I'm going to be putting some glue. Let me put my pin where it belongs because I'm being a good girl. So we're going to go all around the edge. This is just gluing the two pieces of paper together around the Tyvek. And then just get yourself some good bunch of glue on this Tyvek. This Tyvek is going to be part of the hinge that holds the lid to the box. And so I want to make sure, and that should fall right down on there. I want to make sure that I've got this nice and glued together. But the Tyvek is going to keep the hinge part that's going to open the lid up and down. It's going to keep the hinge part from ripping. All right, now if you have any black hanging off the edges, just go ahead and give it a little bit of trim. All right. There we go. Okay, so now I have the bottom of my lid down this way. Let's see if I turn it up so you can see it. And I'm going to place this like I would lining it for, let's see. Do I want to go ahead and put my structure strip down? And then I can put this down. Yes. We're going to go ahead and put this structure strip down. I thought it would be better to put it over this piece, but then it wouldn't look right. Because the other pieces that are going down aren't going to have these strips over them. Okay, so just going to stick this right down in the corner. Keep it pinched so it doesn't catch on anything until such time as you got it where it needs to be. Run your fingernail, or if you don't have a fingernail, get your bone folder. And then we're just going to burnish that down. There we go. And I tell you, that makes this so much sturdier by getting it on the inside as well. Okay, let's make sure we have the back of our lid. I'm going to flip it up like this, and I'm going to put my paper down. Let's see. It's just a little smaller. Fit in there just a moment ago. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put this in just like this. And then this piece is actually going to go right down. Get this little piece of paper here pulled back. Is actually going to go right down. Oh, you know what? Yeah, just like this. And then when you open it up, the hinge will, yes, I think that's going to be just fine. Okay. Push this back. I am going to use some score tape, and I do believe that at the beginning of the video I told you that 1/4 inch score tape was probably going to do you, but I think you're going to need part of another one because I am on my second one. I did end up making even more structure strips, and for time I am going to move to the larger size, but we're just going to cover this completely with score tape. Okay. That's just saving me time for you guys watching the video. I think I had told you once before, I think if you can afford it to have some wider, it's you know, it's just handy to have. You don't use it as much, and it does cost you a little bit more to get the wider ones, which to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense because that just means they cut it less. I don't know. Or they cut it the same. I mean, what's the difference between cutting one of these and cutting one of these? It's still a cut. Why do you charge us so much more? I don't know, guys. But, and then I'm going to just put one more piece on the edge here, and that little bit there is just not going to make that much of a difference. I'll just stick a little glue there. Okay, burnish, burnish, burnish. I don't know if somebody drove up to the house or what, but my puppies, hopefully you can't hear them. They's barking. And I'm just going to take this first half off. Let's see. Yeah, I need to take this one off. And then I'll just stick it back on the part that I don't use. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue right in this part. And I'm going to put just some dots, just so the score tape, I'll have a little bit of wriggle room if I need it. And kind of sits, that glue kind of gives me a nice little barrier until such time. And of course I put that last bit on too high. Okay. And I hope I picked the right side to put down. Let's see. Sorry for my head in the way, guys. I guess this is just a little teeny bit. The paper overlaps on this side just a little bit, so I'm just going to cut that off. All right, much better. So now I want it to go right down into that corner, or very close down to into that corner. Make sure it's nice and even and lay it down. And I am going to put this tape backing back onto the score tape that I didn't actually glue down. And let's burnish. Burnish, 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 burnish. There we go. Very nice. All right. Now, let's put this on our box. And I'm gonna pull this paper out. Make sure our lid is down nice and straight. Okay. And let's see, that is, I'm going to have to take a little piece of my very thin black. I have, that's not long enough. Here is a piece of the very thin black that I have, and I'm going to cut it this side. Cut it right here. And I think, did I cut it a good size? I am going to put it right up against, okay, let me show you here. This paper does not go all the way up to the lid, so there's going to be some sticky score tape showing. So a fix, we're going to take a thin strip of black paper and we're going to lay it right down. Oh, make sure, poop. There we go. Make sure that the lid's not popping up. I'm going to lay this down right at the very top of the lid, or the bottom of the lid, I should say. But right up against that bottom of that lid, so that it will give you a nice black edge. And yet again, it will also give us a nice finish on there. And it's one more piece to help strengthen that. So let's just make sure. Yep, I'm going to cover everything else. I'm going to put some glue on the edge of my paper all the way around. Make sure you get these corners nice. Get some on the box. You can even, one thing I didn't do is, no, glue this side. Just on the outer edge there, I just put some glue down. Now I'm going to put this back on. There we go. Get on there. And now I'm going to glue everything down. Slide it up. Oh my goodness. Isn't that wonderful? Let's do some burnishing so it's nice and adhered to, and that glue's getting all around there. Make sure your box lid is staying tight. Any oozing glue, don't want any oozing glue. I'll make sure we get all those edges down really nicely. Wow. All right. So now I'm going to let that dry before I open the lid. Okay, next is our drawer. Cleaning up. Got to do a little housekeeping here, people. Little housekeeping. Okay. Now, for the inside of the drawer here, I cut a piece that's 10 by 2. And I'm going to put it right on the edge. Right inside on the edge here. So it's not covering all of the bottom of the drawer, but again, unless you pull the drawer out, which is really not made, it's made to stay in, and I didn't want to add too much bulk everywhere, but I did want to cover that up, just for fun. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Another thing I wanted to make sure is on the box, if you get these little white pieces, you see that little white piece there? There's nothing really going to be put right there to cover that up. So I'm just taking my marker and making it black. Okay? So now, it's darker and it's not going to show up as much. All right? So just a little hint on that puppy. Now I also, what I do with the lid, here it is. I'm also going to be doing structure strips. I did one back here. I'm going to do them on the sides. We're going to put the front of the box in, and then I've got a piece that I'm putting over the front and the back. So I'm going to go ahead and add this 10 by 2 strip inside our drawer opening right there at the lip. Again, this is just optional. You don't really have to do this. Just give it a little bend to get it in there. And then I want it, sorry, I'm going to tilt it up a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. I want it to come all the way over, all the way to the edge. So that just makes that box really finished off nicely. There we go. Good job. Yeah, love it. Okay, so we're done with that for a moment. The next thing is, this is the piece that I found my center, and I've made a little round circle right there. I'm going to go ahead and put, let's see, a 1/8 of an inch hole right there. And don't put that too far away because you'll use it again. And then I have this piece that I saved that I want to wrap my front box piece with. So I am going to glue this down. And remember that chipboard does kind of absorb your glue a little bit, so you probably want to put a little bit more glue on than you're used to putting on, because it is very absorbent. And we want this to lay down nicely and not pucker anywhere. You can use score tape if you'd like. I tend to only use score tape when it's going to be something that is going to get stressed. And I'm just going to lay this down in the center, eyeballing it. Okay, and I'm going to fold it over here, and I'm going to burnish it down. Get that glue into that paper. Make sure the edges are nice. And then we're going to do just like we do when we cover a book. We're going to, I got goopy things. Cutting score tape does make your scissors a little on the goopy side. And I'm just going to come down, leave about 1/8 of an inch, and just cut myself a little piece like that. Leaving about 1/8 of an inch. This just gets rid of the bulk because we want it to be nice and pretty. There we go. Get these out of the way. Keep your housekeeping going so that you can keep all your tools where you know where they are. I know I'm doing much better, feeling much better because I'm doing much better at my housekeeping and being able to find all my items and talking and everything else. Now I am going to use some score tape so that I don't have to sit and hold this. I'll just put it on the black. Put it all the way around on the black. I'm just going to do it all in one piece. Just kind of give the score tape a little fold and take it all the way around. And it will stick to itself when you pull that backing off. Let's burnish. Okay, take the backing off. There we go. And then I'm going to put glue. Just like I do on a book, I put it on the edge all the way to where the little bit of fold is. That is going to go over our corners. And then just start in the center and bring this around. All the way, nice and tight. Give it a little burnish. And then also, while that glue is still wet, we're going to lightly burnish to get that paper against the chipboard and make us a nice flat square. See, is it going to focus? There. It's nice flat square. I'm hoping you can see that. All right. So, I'm going to put it all on the edge. This also helps to soften the paper and keep it from cracking because it's wetting the paper a little bit. We're going to just bring that over all the way down. If you get glue on your fingers, wipe it off before you go to grab onto the paper again, or you'll end up with glue on your paper. I have done that millions of times. And again, we're just going to get that nice flat edge we're looking for. And now we're going to fold over, and it has some glue on it, which should be very tacky right now. So we're just going to fold over these little bits of edges that we have. There we go. And that little bit of glue should totally hold that. And then we're just going to put some glue on the top of those little folded pieces. And I put it around the edge because it's longer than the score tape is. Just so it's laying down nice and flat. Burnish. And work that edge. And now you have a very nice, there we go, a very nice squared off drawer front. Very nice squared off drawer front. Oh, and a little on the edge. Burnish. Burnish. Should have a tape recorder to hit burnish. And one to say put it up to the score line but not over the score line, and have another one that says oh my goodness. And I could have like that fake applause that you get on some of those sitcom. When I do something, I can hit the applause. Yay! Oh, holy Hannah. So now I am going to go back into that same hole from the back side of where I popped that hole, and I'm going to make my hole in my front so that I can put my drawer pull on. This is one of the Tim Holtz hitch fasteners, and I'm going to go ahead and install that right now. So we will have our drawer pull. And it would be totally cute to add a charm to this, tie a little bow around it, whatever you're going to want to do to finish your drawer pull. It will be super cute. Okay, now I think we're going to let that dry for a moment, and I am going to go and I'm going to work this just ever so slightly right at the lid. I think we're all dry, and just do it nice and slow. It's gonna, no, we're not dry yet. We're not dry yet. Okay. Oh, did I put glue right there? I don't know. It sounds like I didn't. Well, we shall see. Let's continue on with our drawer. Okay, now I have this piece that is, oh, let's see, basically 8 3/4, maybe a little bit more than 8 3/4, whatever it is that's going to fit from this side piece of the drawer to this side piece of the drawer. And then I measured it. I put it in there, put a mark where I wanted to put my score line, and made my score line on there. Okay. Sorry, this thing keeps clanking. And so that is going to fold over all of this and clean that part up. Let's see. I want to, when I put my drawer front on here, I'm going to, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and put my sides down. And I have already burnished these, folded them, done all of that. Just for speediness. Put it right down into the corner. And burnish. We are getting so close. just some more decorative paper after this, and we're going to be done. Let's see, where's my other piece? Here it is. Let me cut this off. Stickiness on my scissors. Stickiness. Make sure. Yep. I don't want it to go over my edge, so you just got to make sure that it just butts up right to the edge or a little bit behind the edge, because you don't want it to get in the way of your drawer front. All right, burnish. Okay, now to do the drawer front, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put the drawer in. Be very gentle, you don't want to damage your paper. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. So I didn't push it all the way down. I am leaving it, whoop. I am leaving it a little bit. Let's, oh, upside down. I've got words here. And now I'm just seeing where I'm going to want to, yeah, isn't that going to be cute? Oh, I love it. Okay, so I am going to put glue on the edge of my chipboard. And this is going to tentatively hold our top, and I want this to cover the entire opening. Try and make it even side to side here, up and down. I want it to be straight. And that looks good. So now I'm just putting light pressure because I don't want to push the drawer all the way in. Just putting light pressure, and then I'm going to let that dry. And then we'll carefully pull the drawer out and do our structure strips. All right. So I'm going to let that dry. Okay, now this is for the outside of the box. This is my structure strips for against the drawer. And so I'm going to let that dry, and I'll be back in just a few minutes, guys. Oh my gosh, we are almost done. Now I have 7 folders done, so I still have, what is that? 5 more to go? Yes, so I have 5 more to go, which I will do off screen, but I'm going to post this box ASAP so you guys can get this, but I will be back in just a minute. Good morning, everybody, all my YouTube peeps out there. I hope everybody, let's see, this is Monday morning, so I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Or last couple of days, whatever day you happen to be watching this on. So the last thing we did was we glued this drawer front onto the actual drawer. And I am going to pull this out without pulling. It's dry, but I don't want to pull. I didn't want to pull on this drawer front until I get my structure strips in place. So I'm just pulling this out. Just be gentle. There we go. All right. Push that over to the side. So now I'm going to take my little structure strips, and I believe these are already cut down to the proper size. Oh, they could go a little bit shorter. There we go. Go ahead and take, well, I've been through this enough. You guys know what I'm going to do here. Just going to put it right up into the corner. Let me get you a little closer. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. All right. And then burnish down. And this is all going to help hold this drawer, because right now the only thing holding it on is that little bit of glue at the edge of the chipboard. So we definitely want to do some things to reinforce. Get it down there. There we go. Alrighty. See, this goes past the, got an edge here, so I can't really put it down and burnish very well. So I'm just trying to be gentle with it while I'm burnishing. Let me double check. This is going to fit in, yes. And I didn't get the tape all the way to the end, so I am going to add a little bit of glue on this puppy. Good morning, glue. Let's get your little butt in gear here. We got things to do, places to go, and things to see. All right. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on this, because I want to give this as much strength as possible, because you're going to be pulling on it, and I do have it snug. There we go. I could have folded it before I did all that, though. That probably would have been very intelligent. Which I don't promise to be on this. That is not part of what my promise is to be very intelligent. All right, I'm going to tilt this up and get it down into the corners. All right, let's see. And my glue is going to all be dried by the time I get it down. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to hold it in my hand and burnish. Now that should really add to our strength. Plus we're going to put paper on the inside, obviously. All right. Now, I decided on the outside of the box, I was just going to cover it in black. So I've already cut my strips. And I'm just going to, I didn't want to add too much more bulk. And this black that I have is very thin. I couldn't really tell you. It's 65 or less in the, you know, the poundage. So it's not going to add that much more bulk for the drawer. There we go. So we're just going to add these two to the sides. Oh, yeah, it would be nice if I was actually in frame here. Moving the camera just a little bit. Sorry, guys. I did not realize that my camera moved a smidge. Let me make sure I've got the glue going on these edges. There we go. All right. And my other piece. I did not dry fit it just to make sure. Just to make sure we're doing all right. Just fine. All right. I am so excited to be getting close to the end of our box and getting this video out for you guys. I have a lot of food allergies, and it seems like the past week that I have gotten into some food that just didn't agree with me. And so it's been a struggle to get in here to the craft room. So I do apologize that this has taken so long, guys. Really do. But we're getting it done. Getting it done. Hopefully you've gotten all your I guess a little liftage there. I'm just adding some glue. Hopefully you've got all your file folders done. I don't. I still have 5 file folders to do. And then when we finish with the box and I get this video up, then I'll have one more video, at least one more video, where I show you how I'm going to take all the leftovers and we're going to try and use them up. So we're going to try and use up everything. I want to do patchwork, and I think I'm going to, kind of make my own paper. I think I'm going to get like 8 by 14, I think it's 8.5 by 14 copy paper, and then I'm going to, using up all my scraps type of thing. And see, I'm trying to think if I really wanted to do this. I don't think I want to add any more bulk on the top here, but this is thin. I didn't use the thicker paper. This is fairly thin, so I think I am going to attach this. Let's see which one. This longer one is what goes in here. No, the shorter one. Nope, nope. I got the longer one going in there. I'm going to go ahead and fold this. Well, that didn't fold very nicely. Let's do it this way. Much better. There we go. Now I can get a little better idea. It was acting like I was going to have to cut it down a little bit, and I am. Let's see, is it? Let's give this a little cut. Just a little bit. I'm taking like a 1/16 of an inch off because I do want it to go from stem to stern. All right. And then that should cover me all the way down. Okay. So this piece is 2 3/4 by 8 3/4. Give or take a smidge. And I scored it 1.5. And the shorter side will go to the outside of the box, and the longer side will cover all the way down to the bottom. And then we can do our pattern paper, and I might do patchwork in the drawer as well. So I'm going to do a lot of patchwork on my paper. I'm going to make some patchwork tags so and I'm going to make patchwork on the back of the folders. So yeah, that way I can hopefully use up the rest of this paper. I'm going to go ahead and glue this on, and then and I want to use patchwork on the top of the box, so I'm not going to put in we've made the hole on the top lid. We've made the hole for the knob that we're putting on the top, which I'll show you again in just a second. So I've made the holes, so once I cover it, then I can go from the underneath and pop the hole through again. And then I can cover the inside of the box and cover the screw that holds the, and get this centered from side to side. Glue on my fingers. I don't want to get it all over my paper. And just make sure that that score line is down. And then just, now we can burnish this. Flatten that up. And burnish that. So there we go. All right. So my outside of my box is all black. Got a little bit of glue here. And I just had enough. This was I got stain on my finger from, I was doing a quick thing and I got stain on my finger. This was just a scrap piece that I had. If you wanted to add another 1/4 of an inch or so, it would come down to the very bottom. But again, it's the back of the drawer and nobody's really going to see it that much. So I just was not that worried about it. I'm also not going to put anything on the back inside of the drawer. It's just a solid black and I think that'll work. I will do the sides and the bottom and the front so I can cover the screw hole for my little what do you call it, drawer pull. And I will probably, yeah, I think we'll just do that thin black on the bottom, and I don't have a piece large enough. Let's see, thin black. Here's a piece of the thin black. So I'm just going to get this cut. So that I can get this drawer as completed as possible and I can load this video. How exciting. I'm gonna load the video up so you guys can make the box. I really hope that you guys that are following me are doing this. It's a fun project. And hopefully I have made it easy enough for you to follow along. Really, when you're making a box, the hardest thing is the math. The actual making of the box is just, you know, just making a box. Okay. Get this on. Make sure you've got those corners covered. Alrighty. Of all that ugly numbers, all those numbers that were wrong. And I hope that didn't screw you up looking at the numbers on my papers when they were all wrong. Well, this has been a rediscovery for me on box making, but I realized that I really enjoy doing this stuff, and I think I will make some more. I've got a lot of ideas of things I want to do, so that pretty much that whole year that I didn't post, I still had ideas, and I wrote them all down. So I have got a boatload of things that I want to do. And I'm going to be in the market for some new product here in the next month or so that I can do a another, you know, just coming out on the market. So if you guys have any suggestions that you'd like to see me do with the paper pack, I'd love to hear it. Okay, so basically now, other than all of the patchwork, oops, okay, let me get this glued down. The first thing I did was start pulling up that corner. That's not good. Okay, let's try this again. Get this corner in. This is the tougher of the two corners. Give it a little tug, a little push, a little tug, a little push. See, adding just that little thin piece of paper. I put it too far down. Gotta kind of put it in evenly. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna wait and let it really dry because it's just not dry enough yet. All right, guys, so when I come back, see, I still have, and we're just still working this, getting this nice and bent over. Here we go. And we will be putting in a bit of ribbon. So from somewhere in here to somewhere down here, there'll be a little bit of ribbon so that it won't flop backwards any further, but you need to make sure it's going to be far enough where it's not going to close on you. So this will work itself out as we go. So not a big problem there. Just trying to figure out, I must have forgot to pull some score tape, or I didn't glue something or something. I don't know. It's doing a little bubbling over here that I am not very happy about, so I might have to research what's going on there. And but anyway, so there we go. I might have to, let me show you when I am, see where I'm bubbling right there? Right here. Get it? See where I'm bubbling? I have a feeling that there must have been some score tape or something that I didn't put down or didn't pull the cover on or something. I don't know, but I'm probably going to cut along here, trying to keep it as straight as possible. And let me go ahead and do that with you when you guys have a spot. And then you'll just have to camouflage it, maybe by putting a bit of ribbon across right where you cut or something like that. So let's get our score tool. Because I want this to be straight. I'm going to line. So I'm going down about 1/2 inch, which is right about where it's bubbling. And I just want to do that first layer so I can see what's going on. Nope, not yet. I'm doing it very, very lightly because I do not want to cut through everything. So let's try that again. And I really think I need to change my blade. Really? See, so this first part is glued down. So it's the next part that I need to get through. line it up again, and let's go a little deeper. Nope, not yet. All right, let's see where I'm at. Oh, it's the part that attached to the... There we go. Let's see if I can show you. It's the part that attached to the, yeah, that thing. Oh, for heaven's sakes. The Tyvek. This is the Tyvek down here. So apparently I didn't do a very good job of gluing down the Tyvek. So I'm going to lift this up and get some glue under here. You just want to slowly cut through the layers. Slowly cut through the layers so that we can figure out what the dealio is. So do make sure that when you do your Tyvek that you are actually getting everything glued down to the Tyvek. I don't know, I guess I just didn't do that, so I do apologize. But as you can see, there's a fix for everything. A fix for everything. And then all we're going to need to do is put a little piece of ribbon or something, whatever we can find that we like, around that spot. And I'm going to let that dry, and then that won't do that anymore. We hope. We hope that won't do that anymore. Yeah. Okay, guys. So there we have our box pieces, everything put together so you can get all of this done. And when I come back, I'll show you all the finishing pieces and parts and how I'm going to do the backs and the inserts and yeah, all that good stuff. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and let me back this out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. I hope you like my box, and we're going to get this part done, get as far as this, and then I'll come back and we will finish all of the pretty. I'll show you, because everything else is going to be done with piecemeal. Oh, I didn't want to open that yet. Everything else is going to be done with piecemeal, so that I can get all this paper used up. And I will bring you in for a little bit of how I'm going to start that. But anyway, give me a thumbs up if you like this box. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed my chit chat and my ramblings on and on and on. So love you guys. Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Bye.